Thank you for joining us, Mr. Partha, on the SafetyConnect podcast. So, a quick introduction to our viewers and listeners of the podcast. Mr. Partha comes with a lot of experience in the safety industry. He's a safety manager working with Linde. In the past, he's worked with companies like Tata Steel, JSW Steel, and he has a lot of experience when it comes to process safety. So, Mr. Partha, thank you once again for joining us today.
Thank you, Thanmai, for having me. Good to be here.
So, why should we talk about workplace safety today?
So, all around the world after the industrial revolution, uh, the safety industry is being gradually progressing. Though I cannot say it is reached to its optimum level. There are a lot of workers. They are vulnerable to different risks, uh, diseases, that is occupational diseases, and for that they lost their lives. Some of them, sometimes they injured themselves badly, and what happens, the earning ability of that particular family has gone, gone for a toss. And for a country like us, who are having a GDP per capita around 2,500, 2,600, so it is a huge burden for the society at large, and on the government, and uh, on the economy as a whole. So if we can improve it, if we can't bring it down zero, but our aim is to uh, bring down the industrial accident to a zero level. If not, it should be tends to zero, so that we can ensure the effective financial health, mental health of individuals, as well as to reduce the burden on the economy, and on a greater goods, the development of our country. So on that note, on that front, we should be talking about the safety. Yeah.
Got it. So now, amongst uh, the safety professionals within the country and also globally, workplace safety happens to be a very common topic that it's basically safety 101, right? So what do you think is not going right, or what do you think are the areas of improvement that maybe we should touch upon, which is something which is currently being neglected or there's an oversight there, but super critical, right? So, what are your thoughts on that?
So if you ask me this question categorically, I would say the safety in construction industry, especially the small and medium sized construction industries, and the MSME division altogether, the maturity of safety is uh, not in that level. uh, I would say they are trying, but due to the financial constraint, sometimes lack of budget, sometimes very few times it may be, but there is lack of will also, sometimes from the top management, that is hurting this safety success journey. So we should pay more attention in this. uh, we all know that big companies like Tata, like us, uh, we have quite a mature system on safety management system, but some of the smaller companies, they may not be having. So for that, we need to help them, we need to reach them out, we need to have a win-win conversation with their top management, so that we can improve the safety on that section, on that spectrum.
So, for example, we have a situation where there is a safety professional who's joined a company which is maybe a medium or a medium tending to large enterprise, right? Wherein safety wasn't a priority so far, but because maybe this company wants to go IPO in the next few years, so hence it's getting everything in order for that, which means that also you need to start focusing on ESG. Safety needs to be given a lot of priority. And sometimes it's being done to look good and not so much because the company really wants to do it. But if you have a safety professional who's joined a company newly and they're really passionate about getting things done, how do they go about really bringing about this cultural shift, even within the management who is not, for whom safety is not topmost priority?
So it is a bit difficult task, but the safety professional, uh, he or she has to convince the manager, because safety has to come from the top. It's a top down approach, and he or she need to convince the management on the front of financial implication, that legal implication, and the moral implication. That is the very three pillar of safety. As you rightly said, the ESG, right? So that ESG, like for India, it is a BRSR reporting, right? So BRSR reporting is mandated by the SEBI, and it will be rolled out for each and every listed companies. So on that BRSR reporting, there is a significant portion of the occupational health and safety, or the workplace safety. So he or she need to emphasize on it. On the moral ground also, he or she need to ensure that company is following the certain norms and regulation that is being prescribed by Indian Factories Act, if it is a construction company, as per the BOCW Act, and also make the top management understand that if they lose the reputation on the market, it will be difficult for them to get a new contract, right? Because nowadays of digital media, social media, you cannot hide the incident. So quote unquote, you there is a used to be hiding the incident in our countries, some of the companies. So it is not possible nowadays. So the company's reputation will be dented badly, and it will be difficult for them to get a new contract. So on the business front also, they will be losing. So in that way, with a continuous communication, also the reward of ensuring health and safety. So reward is what? The boosting employee morale, the less turnover days, less churning of the people, the I mean the productivity will be increased, the effectiveness of the people will increase. So that overall the business will grow. So both the way, that person, that safety person, or the safety manager, safety officer, whatever it may be, he has to convince the management. Discussion, open communication, and the two-way communication are the only way forward for me, as per my understanding. Yeah.
How does a safety professional who is maybe joined newly, how do they approach that conversation? I understand that it has to be an open conversation, but maybe uh, somebody is newly into the system and then again just setting it up, but um, it's a crucial conversation to have, and uh, this person has kind of not demonstrated anything yet, right? So how do they, in the particular company, of course they would have done something in the past. So how do they, anything you feel like they should keep in mind to just ensure, like, to give them more confidence while approaching that conversation?
So for that, that safety professional need to be well aware about the situation of that particular company, on that particular sector, and on a large, on that particular country. Because if you do not know something, or if you do not convince yourself, you can't convince others. That is the number one. Second thing, yes, it is difficult for a new guy, a new person coming to the field and convincing to the top management. But I would say, one by one, take a baby step. If not something knee jerking, take a baby step. Take example for other companies, growth stories. It is readily available in the internet. You can discuss with the senior guys. Like for an example, the social media site like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very good platform to connect with the senior leaders. What I do, I have spent around 10 years in this industry, right? So I do not know all the things, because this occupational health and safety clubbed with ESG, it is an ocean. It is very difficult to some single person to understand each and every nuances of this field. Similarly, for a say, new person who is entering in this profession, he has to connect with the people who has been there for this industry for 20 years, 25 years, maybe 30 years. And some most of the people, so most of the senior guys, they are doing the safety advocacy on charity basis, on a free basis. Get a help from him, get a guidance, get a guru. so that you can convince your management. Also learn from the others mistakes before you commit it. So that thumb rule, that guy has to remember and has to present with that data, because data doesn't lie. So nowadays, the era of data science, the artificial intelligence, you can get the data, you can get the accident data from National Safety Council, from the OSHA, from the Oxford BC in the Australia, maybe it is the health and safety executive from the UK. So you can get the compile the data, you can show the graphs to the management. So management will understand the data, they will understand the Excel sheet, right? How much denting this company is having, how much penalize they could be if they are not following the certain norms. So there is I mean, it is a balancing game and also communication skill. So how to communicate, that person need to learn gradually. I mean, single night or single day isn't enough. Just get a help. That
So
would
I
be
think
my point of view.
absolutely. I think you kind of really made a strong point there that the person who is implementing this, they need to completely believe in it and they need to take it up as a top priority for them and then drive it through the organization by effectively presenting the data and also communicating efficiently with the key stakeholders, understanding also when to present it, how to present it, and what really resonates with each of these stakeholders. I think that's very important. I want to share one learning of ours also, or what we've actually seen happening practically. So we at Safety Connect, our main focus is into driving safety, right? So companies that have a large field sales team, field service team, they experience a lot of road accidents of their employees. And sometimes there are fatal accidents, sometimes there are major accidents, but it's very expensive for a company when something like this happens, right? A major accident or a fatality itself costs a few hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on where it is happening, and a few millions of dollars in brand damage as well, right? So even when we do present this to companies and show them how we can help reduce road accidents by up to 80% also, which we've demonstrated, first they need to the first some companies, they're like, yeah, we see the value in it, I will talk to my management and I'll try to see how we can get this done. Maybe this may not happen in this quarter, maybe the next financial cycle we'll look at taking this up. But there are certain safety professionals who are like, okay, but I don't know what my management will say about this, right? So I feel it's very important for safety professionals and safety leaders to be able to clearly also lay that roadmap in terms of, yes, this is where I want to go, and try to do what it takes to bring the management buy-in, and of course tie it with the larger overarching tailwinds, which is like ESG and so on and so forth. So that's my experience about it. Anything you would like to add to that?
Absolutely. You are spot on, really, on this topic. The confidence on self of the safety professional, because safety is not just another profession. It is a on a wider perspective. It is a I mean kind of I mean on a greater goods of the society. It's not about the only that organization in which you are working on. It is about the greater goods of that particular area. So that's why there is a ESG, there is a S term in ESG, right? So it is talking about the greater goods of that particular demographics also. So if you do not have the self belief that I can convince, and yes, of course, immediately I couldn't do anything, but gradually, by discussion, in a different platform on that particular organization with one to one, or by getting the help from the senior guys, we can implement, I mean, gradually on a smaller quantity, but on a right direction. That is.
And one more thing that I've observed, right, while dealing with a lot of safety leaders, they always want to pay it forward, right? So some time ago, we had webinars with some very reputed people in the safety industry, and one of them was with Mr. Pankaj Singh, and he really shared how he went about implementing a program, what were the findings, and like that, there are so many fantastic people in the industry, in these large enterprises who have like a treasure trove of knowledge and are more than willing to share, as we have seen, and also do share on LinkedIn. So I think reaching out to these people, these experts, and then getting their guidance, mentorship, as you rightly mentioned, is also something which would be the right way to take it forward. Yeah. So now when it comes to aspects like workplace safety, what do you think are like the top places where accidents are happening the most?
So I would say working at height is very hazardous. Then comes main machine interface. So there are a lot of machineries will be there in construction as well as in manufacturing setup. And third, I would say the confined space. There will be a lot of confined space, especially in the process industry. Apart from this, there will be lifting and rigging operation. On a broader perspective, the material handling, both mechanical and manual material handling, and of course the road safety. The road safety for I mean, logistic segment, the logistic part, it's a huge. And also the road safety comes to your own personal life, apart from your professional life. As we all will be driving each and every day, will be commuting, right? So I think these are the most vulnerable areas where uh, dangerous accidents can happen. Apart from these, also there are, a lot of agents. There are lot of different activities. But if you want to focus, if you want to put your spotlight, I would say these are the location you should be. I mean, we should be always be focused and always take all the risk control measures as far as reasonable effective. Yes.
Can you share something with respect to work at height, right? What you maybe did, what was the framework that you adopted for that, or the process you adopted for that? And also maybe how it was, what was some adaptation that you had to do after you did implement it because of the learnings from that? And yeah, some interesting insights from that experience of yours.
So, I'm giving some practical scenario from my experience. So, in my previous organization, one of the previous organization, while there is a work in a fragile roof, people need to change the roof sheeting. Yeah, people need to change the old roof sheets that is being very fragile, and we need to ensure the safe working procedure on the roof, which is around 20-meter above the ground level. So there is a potential free fall height is 20 meter. So for that, we need a roofers, the person who are trained for these activities. uh, for some reason, that work has been done on that particular location in a very primitive way, right? So when I interfered and I asked that execution person to show what is their existing safe work procedure, nothing is clearly mentioned. Okay. uh, I mean, they're just they have mentioned just generic points. You need to ensure the anchorage of full body harness. There should be a full-fledged PP, like this generic statement. So, and they were happy with it because, as usual, uh, we have been doing these things for lot more years, and it is working fine with me. But what I told them, just going through that safe working procedures, these are the gaps you are having in these working procedures. What is the emergency evacuation? What what is your safe work procedure telling about the competency of the roofers? How you are ensuring that roofers are competent, whether their training is effective? You are providing the training on working at height for the roofers or the roof workers, but whether the training is effective, whether it is reaching to them, what is the two-way communication procedures? Are you taking any kind of uh, exam or test, a short test kind of things, whether they have understood the procedures? So I could find there is a gaps. So what I did, I just discussed with the particular construction manager or the area in charge of that area, we could implement that uh, uh, particular system from another agency. They're, I mean, expert in working in roof. We could bring their expertise to it. We sat together and we formulated the pictorial SOP, that step by step procedures, and it is pasted on all the convenient location. Next thing is we have implemented the retractable lifelines, retractable horizontal lifelines with a adjustable degree of freedom. That is very much important. Second thing is how to, I mean, if something gone wrong, if somebody is in a position of emergency rescue, how we can rescue. So we again bring in the uh, trained rescue team. We have a trained rescue team and stationed there for that particular activity. And I mean, a small adjustment we did. The full body harness that they were using, it is not equipped with that suspension trauma strap. That is very much important. If the people is hanging without the trauma strap, so within 3 to 4 minutes there can be a uh, paralysis kind of situation on the lower extremities of that person, or there is a restricted blood flows due to the pressure that is being created on the thigh portion, or the uh, on the joint on the thigh portion, on the lower abdomen portion. So the suspension trauma strap is provided a platform for the person so that he can relax on that suspension trauma strap. So by designing this, we could successfully, completed this activity, and something new to be learned. And I have also learned from the workers how safe they feel while doing that particular activity, which was not there earlier. Earlier, they was just taking some kind of chance. Yes, hum to kar denge, we'll do it. Like, so that is one thing. If you ask me on a textbook kind of thing, how to mitigate the risk or how to manage the risk, so always we need to take that hierarchy of control. Hierarchy of control is everything in safety for me. So elimination, substitution, engineering control, administrative control, and PPE, right? So elimination. So first thing, can you eliminate that working at height? Is it possible? For example, we are using the prefab structure, prefabricated structure, so that people do not have to go to the top. It is being erected on a structure basis only. So that is kind of elimination. Substitution. Can you substitute the height? Can you lower the height? Is there any provision? Third is the most effective, that is the engineering control. Engineering control is the control that we can take on the site or on the workplace without the intervention of the top management. So, can you provide the fall restraint system? Can you provide the rails, guard railing with top rail and mid rail, right? So, these are the engineering control. Administrative control is coming from the work permit system. Most important thing is the work permit system. If your permit to work system is robust for any kind of hazardous activity, and if it is going through the right filtration and checks and balances, and it is being religiously followed on the field, and somebody is there to ensure this permit work is being followed, I would, I would say 90 to 95% risk will be controlled or minimized to a acceptable level. And last but not the least is the PPE, or the fall protection devices, like full body harnesses, like the retractable fall arrestor, like so. It is a complete system that we need to follow. We cannot rely on a single devices or a single management system to prevent the injury, because Tanmay, working at height is still now is the biggest killer in any industry, be it a construction or it is a manufacturing, as per the data, right?
Yeah, I think you pointed up some uh, very important things. I also wanted to check with you, what do you feel the technology landscape is looking like, or rather, what are the future technologies you feel are going to be important to help towards reducing the uh, falls from a height, right?
So first thing that comes to my mind is the training of the person, because the competency come from knowledge, ability, training, experience, and skill. So the training part, the T part, is very important, and in that part we can uh, include, already we are including, and we can reinforce or we can include more, that is AI, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, AR, and the virtual reality, VR. Right? Already we are doing these things. This with the help of VR headset, that entire VR virtual reality system. We are providing the training to the workers so that they could visualize if somebody is falling, how how it looks like it will go to your neurotransmitter. They would be thinking ki they themselves are falling. So that is the marvelous things of the technology, like both the VR and the AI. Now for the AI would say that AI can be included almost everything for any technology, right? I'm not from that software background, but in my limited knowledge, we have implemented AI in CCTV camera. So it is there to detecting whether the person who is entering in that workplace, whether he has all the required PPs for that particular job. That is being automatically captured by the AI camera, and somebody is sitting on the control room, he can easily monitor. That is one thing. Second thing is the predictive analysis by historical data. So you can, if you are using that AI, you can have a loads of data. So there comes this data engineering. You can filter the data, and data is everything. Data is the fuel of our modern economy, right? So from this data, you can design if there is any particular training is required, or are we missing something? Is there any kind of bottlenecks? So all that things can be possible, which used to be a speculation. Now it is very much reality by the help of the AI, VR, and the augmented reality or the AI. That is my understanding.
Got it. Got it. So I think safety professionals should now also maybe look at exploring these options, right? Seeing how, okay, to make your permit to work system more robust, more comprehensive, ensure that the adoption is very high, and also ensuring that we do have the necessary uh, roadmap at least to implement these kind of AI-based solutions to ensure that proactively it is alerting people of um, say some lapse in the way in which they're going forward with those procedures or operations. Yeah. So I also wanted to touch upon the other um, safety hazards that you or the safety risks that you spoke about, right? In addition to the working at heights, you spoke about confined spaces, right? So maybe do you want to share any learnings that you've had on that front?
Definitely. So around 2.5 years back, there was an injury on that by a forklift track, that is FLT, in one of our workshop in my one of my previous organization. That forklift track, uh, during the reversing of that forklift track, it smashed one person who was working on that area. Right. So that is a classic case of caught in hazard, or a hazard that is under the category of man-machine interface. So that was a learning for us also. He was using the reverse horn, but due to the work environment, it was not audible, or the person was, uh, I mean, he was in a busy in some other works, so he couldn't pay the attention of that reversing horn. Right. So what we did again we take a technological intervention for all the forklift trucks. So whenever they are reversing, there will be if there is a person within the 6 feet, immediately the forklift will stop the engine. That technology will stop the engine, and the driver couldn't reverse the vehicle. So that is the fail-safe mechanism, and that is uh, achieved by the help of the technology only. So that is a very good understanding for me also. So it happened around, as I told you, 2 3 years back, but it still hurts me because we could have done it earlier.
Are there any other controls that can be, or any other instances that stand out when it comes to man-machine interface?
Yes, definitely. So there are a lot of things, uh, our workers will be working with the machines each day, every day, and all the time, right? They will be using some kind of machine. There will be vehicle passing through. So there are a lot of engineering controls that is inherent. I mean, inbuilt in the system. For example, you could take a instance of crane operation. There is a automatic safe road indicator, right? The basic necessary things of that area in charge and along with the safety professional to inspect that particular crane, right? uh, Whether the ASLI, the automatic safe road indicator, is working, and whether the cutoff is happening by the limit switch. The cutoff is very important. If it is giving only the alarm, it won't work. It has to be cut off, right? That is one thing. For example, you take a EOT, right? We have around 12 EOT in my current workplace. All the overhead crane, that is the EOT crane, have the LT and CT, the long travel and the cross travel, right? We need to check the healthiness of these cut-off devices, both the long LT and the CT, as well as the gravity limit switch and the rotary limit switch, all the limit switches. That is very much important for any machines, and our responsibility, being a manager, being a supervisor, being an in charge, being an officer, to check the healthiness of it. We should not be complacent ki it is there, it will work. It's not like this. Even if the technology comes, if you put more controls, more interlocks, let's say the interlocks between two conveyor, like, so the interlocks, the synchronizing interlocks has to work properly. If there is a mismatch, a little bit mismatch, the person can be entangled who is working in that machine or with that particular machine. So there are a lot of instances. I could give one more example of the zero very particular equipment uh, which will stop that particular conveyor if that conveyor is not maintaining that preset speed, right? There is an electronic governor set in that particular JDSS. So that device has to be calibrated and has to be inspected, so that in the time of actual emergency it could cut off, so that the person couldn't get entangled. Thanmai, I don't want to take the name, you can search it. One famous CEO of a very big cement company, he got entangled in a conveyor while inspecting because that cut-off switch, limit switch didn't work at that time. It's not about the workers only, it can be any one of us. So this man machine interface, and it is a very huge function. I mean, there are a lot of things, lot of integrating things. Each and every machines, there will be emergency control, there will be other limit switches, there could be a governor that can be operated from the DCS. So whether all the controls are in place, are in proper function, that needs to be inspected and that needs to be checked. That is the most important.
Right. So basically, what you're saying is the inspections of all of these is, and regular inspections
Absolutely,
and thorough inspections is something which is,
absolutely.
so that all these controls work properly when they're supposed to. So typically, in your experience, is this something which is, these inspections, are they done by, say, like the safe, again, it could be different for different industries and the nature of business that they're into, but typically, is this something that falls under the safety team, or is this something that the maintenance and the operations teams look into? So what is kind of like the, where does the accountability lie for this?
The accountability lies. as per the company's decision, as you rightly said. That can be varied from company to company. So in my previous organization and my current organization also, it is lies on to the operation as well as the maintenance, but safety plays a very major role as a catalyst to check whether these things are done as per the schedule or not, or if there is a deviation or not. Like for an example, there is a 10 conveyor, right? Some team has inspected 8 conveyors, and the other two are a similar kind of conveyor. So they could easily just fill the form, I mean fill the check sheet, right? To prevent this, we have technology. Now comes the part of the apps or the technology. Each and every conveyor that is fitted, I would say that is being all the data of that particular conveyor is feeded in that particular apps. Each and every time you're going to inspect, you need to take the real time picture, and that can be checked by anybody who is having access to that inspection dashboard, right? So you can nobody can bluff on that inspection. That is very much important. And safety person has to ensure, sometime he has to enforce also. In India we need to enforce sometime, right? So sometime you know the danda. So to check whether it is being happening properly is a vague word again, happening as per the schedule, as per the parameters or not, or if there is a deviation, immediately he should flag to the management.
Got it. So interestingly, so we've also deployed this kind of a solution for a lot of our clients, wherein they can define what is that particular activity. They can also define what are the checklists that are associated with that particular activity. They can assign it to a number of people. And also you can assign it to a person and then ask that person to inspect a particular asset also, right? So that way, if you have, say, 100 assets, you know how many of them have been inspected at which location. And if it's not done by a certain time, then there is going to be an escalation and so on and so forth. So that way you can see like a Kanban board in terms of, okay, what is to be done, in progress, done, overdue, right? So that way it
Yes.
gives really good visibility into what is the current status of things. And as you're also rightly mentioning, we are capturing the image, and also we have a layer of intelligence to also tell whether it is falsified or whether it is a legitimate inspection that has happened, right? So that's something which is also being very well appreciated by a lot of safety professionals who are using the system. So yeah, I think inspections are so important. And so I also wanted to touch upon working in confined spaces, right? Because that is also something which is very risky. And since you're operating currently in the chemical industry, specifically gases, I'm pretty sure this must be an area of importance there, right? So, what are your thoughts around this space, and what are your findings and insights that you can share?
So see, confined space. The awareness about the confined space is, very good in my current organization as well as my previous organization also, because we have selected a few groups of peoples. They are trained regularly for the confined space. All the confined space are being identified and clearly marked, and that is also tagged with in our control system in our DCS. So that is one thing. Second thing, uh, confined space, whenever it comes to our mind, we need to always understand key before sending anyone inside the confined space, it should be thoroughly inspected. Again, the inspection comes. Inspection regarding the mechanical hazard, regarding the electrical hazard, and regarding the gaseous hazard, or the toxic and flammable atmosphere. So, for an example, if there is a oxygen enrichment inside a confined space, so it can, for a very instantaneous spark, there can be huge explosion, right? So the ventilation plays a very key role. So whenever people are uh, about to go inside a confined space, first we need to check whether these people are trained in the confined space. Again, the training through the VR virtual reality plays a very crucial role. They will get to understand what are the existing hazards like asphyxiation, oxygen enrichment, toxic atmosphere, flammable atmospheres. All these things can be happen inside in that particular confined space. All confined space are tagged in the DCS and the control system, and the person's name again will be validated in a permit to work system of the confined space. That is a completely digitalized permit, and the person uh, who is having the valid training card and training card number, that is also being revalidated in every 6 months, that is checked in the permit to work system itself. And the person who is going to issue the permit and the person who is going to accept the permit, both has to be our company's employee, and they had to go through the rigorous training of the on the confined space, right? That is one thing, that's the training part. Engineering control, I would say mostly most important thing is the ventilation. That can be LEV, local exhaust ventilation, or the forced ventilation. So ventilation will continuously ensure the removal of toxic gases or flammable gases from the confined spaces, and the uh, entry of the fresh air for the breathing. And also we are using the voltage regulating device, uh, and the welding and everything, the machineries will be outside the confined space. That is mostly most of the industries are following. The main thing what we are following again, the camera. Every confined space as identified are being fitted with the CC camera with AI technology, right? So continuously we can get and it is a weather proof as per the IP rating, so that it cannot get deteriorated. Again, the calibration is done in every 6 months. That is one more thing to check their effectiveness of that particular CC cameras. So real time monitoring is there from the smartphone itself. The permit uh, acceptor can view what is happening inside the confined space. That is one thing. Second thing is the SOS button, SOS system that we have procured from another very renowned equipment manufacturer, OEM, in the safety field. So if every person has to have the personalized monitoring system, multi-gas detector, that is being detected oxygen, LEL, this CO, H2S. So everything is being monitored. And this SOS button, if there is no movement of that particular person, of suppose SOS 1 that is being written in the work permit, and the person can see on his smartphone, that is not moving for 20 seconds, it will give fast alarm. If it is not moving for 30 seconds, it will sound buzzer like anything, and our emergency responder will start acting. So that is how we are controlling confined space. And usual trainings, usual monitoring, uh, gas detection by top, middle, and bottom layers, they are leveraging in, as I said, the permit box system. All together we have built a very robust system for the confined space.
Do you also see that drones and say robot technology being used for this as a replacement of human
uh,
beings operating in
I've
confined?
seen yes, it can be easily done. uh, though I didn't experience personally this intervention of the robotics in confined space. That is being happening in many industries, many sophisticated industries. And for me, that the scavenging operation, no, in our country, manual scavenging, is a, I want to use some strong words, let it be. That is a very dangerous operation. Like people lose their lives inside while cleaning the manholes due to the methane poisoning, or any inhalation of any toxic gases. For that cases, we need the robotic intervention. That things needs to be done by the robots, which can be remotely operated. The process can be done swiftly, uh, in fast, and also this. exposure to this risk inside the confined space can be eliminated. So it is there. uh, Drone, yes. While cleaning the silo, I have seen these things. uh, Cleaning the silo of any cement plant is a very hazardous activity, right? So you need to check whether there is any formation inside the wall, like cavity formation, or the formation of the bulk cement that could be a cause of engulfment. So that can be checked by the drone technology remotely to inspect that particular area inside the silo, and that action can be taken before sending somebody inside it. So yes, definitely in near future, this use of robots and drones will be more and more, will be more frequent, and we can avoid, uh, loss of lives due to this use of such kind of technologies. Rightly said.
Got got it. So thank you for sharing all these very real life experiences of yours, which you've kind of gathered by getting your hands dirty, by working on site with all sets of users, with all sets of people. So wanted to check now, what is very a big issue today is how our country is heating up, right? So it's a big problem. So what are your thoughts about that, and what can companies do towards it?
So I can be bit more controversial in that topic, because mm, there is a no limit to the uh, damage done by the human. I mean, I don't say the human stupidity. There is a lot of good guys around here. But what we did, we have gradually, means that urbanization gradually destroyed the natural ecosystem, right? This is entire food chain, entire ecosystem. So we cannot cover in this podcast. So due to this huge population increase and rampant uh, unplanned urbanization, that has caused these things. Mostly there can be El Nino kind of phenomena, that is a natural things. But apart from this, uh, I mean, what we did, we actually created a very dangerous situation for our existence also, right? By rampantly removing all the trees, all the carbon capturing natural sink, right? So, I mean, drying down all the natural lakes, removing the waters, building that heavy buildings. Bypassing all the pollution control norms by some of the industries, by the help of some of the politicians. So they are all very complex topic. So that is the part of the problem, and we are, everybody, you, me, and everyone is facing it. Companies are facing the loss of productivity. People are losing their loved ones due to heat stroke, due to heat exhaustion, um, and other such kind of heat illnesses. What companies can do? Yes, as a company, they can do lot more things. First of all, they should be ethical, uh, and they should understand it can impact their profits also, their profit margin also. If they want to visualize it as a P&L statement, is impacting them, right? So they should enforce. They have the power. They can enforce our government to take more initiative to prevent the rapid climate change. That is one thing. On a micro level, they can plant more trees, like on their premises. They can use, I mean, different, natural kind of ventilation apart from the big HVAC or centralized AC that is creating a urban heat zone, right? We have heard these things. That is one thing. On an individual level, also, we need to always ensure that we are not cutting the trees like many, like for the short-term goal. We are actually creating a very long-term problems for our coming generation. So plant trees, preserve, preserve water. Think, be more mindful before using natural resources. Before using natural resources, what is sustainability? Sustainability is fulfilling our present need without hampering the future one, right? So for that, we need to be very mindful. Each and every person, please be very mindful. Otherwise, uh, we are not going in a very bright direction. I would say a bit darker direction in terms of environmental sustainability. We have seen we could have controlled the plastic pollution, right? Plastic pollution is a very huge thing. This apart from these heat waves, I just want to say 2 3 words regarding this plastic pollution. Government has enforced some of the rules for banning this plastics uh, in different micron size, but still, is there right kind of vigilance? Is there right kind of enforcement by the officials? That is from the government part, and from the individual part, the part which we play as a consumer. It's a consumer driven economy. Whether we are preventing, are we ensuring that we are not using this kind of plastics? So it is, it is hurting the entire food chain, entire ecosystem. You could have seen a lot of disturbing videos in the marine ecosystem. Inside that, some marine species like dolphin, we are getting the plastics inside their stomach, right? Companies, corporates, like I don't want to take the name, there's a very uh, luxury good manufacturer. They are burning their unused product in a desert like Atacama in Chile. So but why? They have used lot of resources to build those kind of leather goods. Now they don't want to bring down their bring down their selling price, so that supposedly they will lose their reputation of being a luxurious brand. What they are doing, they are burning these resources. They are burning their bags. That means they are burning the resources. So such kind of things is, it's not good. There should be a team approach for individual level, for corporate level, from the government level. If we are not taking all that sustainable development goal, 17 sustainable SDG by this as per the scope, we are certainly heading towards a catastrophic disaster. We have seen it, and I think the country like India, which is having the population is more than 140 crore, we cannot afford this, right?
So something that we should all think about. And what's the one message you want to leave people with?
So the message from my side is, uh, be mindful in whatever you are doing, right? In your personal life, in your professional life, and as a safety manager or a safety professional. But I just want to convey one thing: if before sending someone uh, on a job, please do risk assessment. That is the most important thing. Assess the risk, identify the hazard, assess the risk, and take the control measure, and convey this to the people who will be working. Risk assessment is, was, and will be the most important thing in terms of the safety. So please do it. Take some time, pause, be mindfulness, put the permit to work in place as it's supposed to be. Don't take the shortcut, because we all know the shortcut may cut short someone's life. So that will be my message.
Thank you very much for joining us on the Safety Connect podcast, and we look forward to many more such interactions with you. Thank you.
Thank, thank you, Tan. Thank you.